Um, okay. Female participation in delinquent gangs. Female association in a group misconduct has been more aloof than dynamic, with young girls and young women working as bolster staff to a male individual as opposed to as equivalent members. James Short and various different suitably portray these females and their optional parts and statuses as a branch association of a female assistant. A female auxiliary is a normal thing, and they exist to perform many capacities for young men's gang members and appreciate a level of self-governance among themselves. Auxiliary status used to be the most well-known type of group corporation accessible to females. A few gangs allow sexually incorporated enrollment. The middle class rural gangs whose young individuals have not been truly distanced from white collar class standards and values and still try to working class instructive and work related goals. The woman gang members population. Ann Campbell assessed the roughly 10 for each penny of the developing group populace in New York City are females going in age from 14 to 30. National Youth Gang Survey in 2006 that females represented roughly 11% of dynamic group individuals in the United States. In spite of that fact that numbers were most elevated in urban zones, the extent of female grouped individuals was most elevated in provincial regions. CBS News report estimated that roughly 1,000 young ladies are included in more than 100 female gangs in Chicago alone. It was underscored that there are not sister associations to the male gangs, yet autonomous female gangs. The similarities to male gangs and their belongings to the group. Like their male partners, these females pack stake out their own turf of region, receive unmistakable cues and symbols, and have physical encounters and battles with opponent gangs. Confirm proposes that expended brutality among female groups may worsen the issue for male gangs individuals to affirm their manliness. Female gangs today, like male gangs, also vary considerably in motivation and kind of criminal involvement. For example, heavy drugs, prostitution, illegal movements. The slight victims are into substantial medications and prostitution, while the 14 to 19-year-old tiny diablas take a week after week accumulation to purchase weapons and fight that their group gives them a social structure and feeling of personality that they would not have anywhere else. Why young females affiliate with gangs. Ann Campbell's subjective investigation of the girls in the gang 1991 found that enrollment in 3 New York City gangs spoke to dissolate and distant young ladies from transient and physically savage families. Other researchers suggest that they are socially maladjusted, come from broken and unhappy homes, and do not relate well to the opposite sex. Most studies show friendship, solidarity, self-affirmation, and a sense of new possibilities motive young inner-city females to join the remaining gangs. Gang violence. Law implementation offices, criminologists, and other people who have practically experience in the investigation of adolescent wrongdoings for the most part concur that gang participation improves the probability of more genuine reprobate conduct. Many gangs do not have crime as their dominant activity. Offenses are committed spontaneously, and most members have temporary gang memberships and short criminal careers. While only some gang members were involved in gang violence, it was mostly done to show masculinity and gain respect, and was done with no weapons but physical body. More research was done by Miller proving that young gang members' murder rate was going up throughout the years due to weapons. Gang violence continued to undergo modifications in strategy and style over the years. Back in the days, gangs used to fight with bottles, clubs, chains, knives, and fists. Now they fight with handguns, revolvers, and shotguns. Gangbangs is a generic term for a variety of other gang violence, including assaults, rapes, knifings, killings, and beatings. Drive-by homicides began to decline in LA in 1993. However, when that started happening, the police started to go around the poor and gang neighborhoods even more. So the Mexican Mafia issued an anti-drive-by edict in the belief that the practices threatened its lucrative drug trade by bringing unwanted attention to the neighborhoods. So many gangs further adapted with the walk-up or the walk-by, shooting in which the gunman attacks his targeted victim face-to-face. This was also the easiest transition, as most gangs thought it was more honorable and respectful. If you're going to be a man and shoot somebody, at least have the guts to look them in the face and shoot them. It is more honorable to kill at a close range. The Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention detailed that gangs assumed a part in the right around 80% of the pre-adult manslaughter occurrences examined in LA. Gang-related homicides are concentrated mostly in large cities and seem to have increased slightly from 2000 to 2010. Violence touches and terminates the lives of a very large portion of American young people over and above the conspicuous and aggressive street gangs. Auto accidents are primarily the number one killer, but homicide deaths among young people have skyrocketed 300% in 3 decades. It now is the number two killer between Americans 15 and 24 years of age. Through the years to come, more young kids are going to be the subject of poverty, which will lead to dropouts, pregnancies, gangs, drugs, etc. The Federal Bureau of Investigation have given top priority to rapidly expanding criminal enterprise that has been labeled America's most vicious gangs.